We left off last episode with Rome securing control over all of Italia. This brought the Romans into closer contact with the Carthaginians. In previous times, the two could have been considered allies as they had common interests against the Etruscans and the Greeks. However, this ended with the Roman annexation of Magna Graecia. Syracuse was a Greek city and was the most powerful city on the island of Sicily. They had enlisted the aid of a mercenary group called the Mamertines. However, there was a disagreement over pay, which resulted in the Mamertines capturing the city of Messana. Syracuse attacked the mercenary rebels, but the Mamertines called for help to both the Romans and the Carthaginians. They probably weren't counting on them both showing up to help. Rome was interested in Sicily because of its strategic location. The island could be useful for staging invasions into southern Italy or into Africa. It was vital for Mediterranean trade. Sicily also had rich soil, which could provide grain for Rome. Carthage, meanwhile, already owned the western portion of Sicily. It's not too hard to imagine why both civilizations had vested interest in the region's seemingly unimportant local affairs. The Mamertines had accepted a Carthaginian garrison to defend the city, but the Mamertines went forth with requesting aid from Rome as well. When Rome accepted, the Mamertines removed the Carthaginian garrison. This led to the garrison commander being crucified under orders of Carthaginian officials. The Carthaginians, seeing where the situation was headed, also forged alliances with Syracuse and Agrigentum. When Carthaginian forces arrived, they led a joint operation with tyrant Hieraean of Syracuse to besiege Messana. The Carthaginian fleet then awaited a Roman invasion. The Carthaginians were so confident in their naval capabilities that they promised the Romans that they would never be able to wash their hands in the sea so long as the war continued. The Roman consul, Appius Claudius, was taken so aback by this that he offered a peace deal to the Carthaginians. But Hanno, the Carthaginian commander at the time, felt confident enough that he actually refused the deal. He could have just been another commander that we never learn about because their win-loss ratio was unremarkable. But no, he just had to go down in history for making one of the stupidest mistakes ever. I'm not saying Carthage would have survived, but I doubt many people got premature peace deals from the Romans. The Roman army and fleet arrived at Messana at night and broke the siege by defeating both the Carthaginian and Syracusan armies. Manius Valerius Maximus Messala, wow, that's a lot of names. Anyways, he became the new consul and took over Roman forces. He attacked Syracuse itself. King Hieraean surrendered to the Romans and was allowed to stay in power. Over the next few years, Rome would win multiple land battles against Carthage. However, if they wanted to win the war, they needed a capable navy. In 260 BC, Rome was able to construct 120 warships in only 60 days. They likely copied Carthaginian models captured earlier in the war. Because they were amateur sailors, the Romans used their ingenuity to defeat the Carthaginian navy. They developed a device called a corvus that would let Roman soldiers climb onto Carthaginian ships, kill the crew, and then steal the ship. The bridge was effectively 11 meters long, or 36 feet, which allowed it to be used when Carthaginian crews tried to ram their ships. The idea was to negate the naval experience of Carthaginian sailors and make naval battles more akin to land battles, which the Romans were experienced at. The idea was successfully deployed in 260 BC when Duilius, commanding a fleet of 145 ships, defeated the Carthaginian fleet of 130 ships in the Battle of Mylae. Duilius was honored with a Roman triumph for having been the first commander to win a naval battle in Roman history. Rome went on to win two more important battles, the battle at Soltius in 258 BC and Ecnomus in 256 BC. With Carthaginian naval power diminished, Rome actually took the fight to Carthaginian soil. They fought and won battles in modern-day Tunisia. However, they were forced to withdraw after Carthaginian forces were reorganized by Xanthippus. The fight eventually returned to Sicily. A Carthaginian commander named Hasdrubal tried to counterattack, but it was ineffective. The Romans enacted lengthy and unsuccessful sieges of Carthaginian cities in Sicily. The war continued to drag on with staggering tolls on both sides. They were both in a financial quagmire, so much so that Carthage actually begged the Egyptian leader Ptolemy II to provide money for their war effort, which he refused. Because Carthage heavily relied on mercenary forces, this fiscal situation hurt them worse than Rome. Hamilcar Barca, the father of famous Hannibal Barca, raided the Italian coast and partook in guerrilla warfare in Sicily. Meanwhile, Hanno the Great expanded the holdings of Carthage in Africa, thereby increasing the tax base. Hanno the Great was sent to relieve a besieged city on the western coast of Sicily in the famous Battle of Aegates. Hanno suffered a moderate defeat, but the war's extraordinary length and tolls forced Carthage to the negotiating table with Rome. Carthage was forced to withdraw from Sicily and had to pay 3,200 talents of silver to Rome over the next decade. Sicily became the first foreign Roman province. Corsica and Sardinia would also shortly fall to Roman dominion. Over the next few years, the two powers would stick to themselves. Carthage had to deal with revolts and wars from unpaid mercenaries in Libya. Thank you so much for watching. Next time, we'll be discussing the Second Punic War, because if there's a first, then that means there's gonna be a second, and a third. Spoiler.